You thought your life was unfolding according to the blueprint of the 12 zodiac signs. But today, I'm going to tell you a harsh truth. Your destiny may have been miswritten from the very beginning. Beyond the 12 zodiac signs lies a hidden truth concealed for millennia, the 13th sign, Ophiuchus. Its appearance suggests your zodiac sign may not truly be you. Your so-called predictions about personality, love, and career all rest on a misplaced script. Even more shockingly, Ophiuchus isn't a newly discovered constellation. The ancients long knew of its existence, yet chose to keep it hidden. Why? Because Ophiuchus holds more than just the secrets of the zodiac. Behind it lies the fork in the road of destiny. Chapter 1. The deleted 13th sign in astrology. We're familiar with the 12 zodiac signs, corresponding to the 12-month cycle, symbolizing the wheel of life throughout the 4 seasons. While seemingly intact, a closer look at ancient star maps reveals an incredible detail. Between Sagittarius and Scorpio, there lies a deliberately obscured constellation, Ophiuchus. Its position isn't a marginal addition, but rather a prominent presence on the zodiac, rightfully part of the interpretation of destiny, just like the other 12 constellations. So the question arises, why was it eliminated from the modern astrological system? Was it due to a calculation error? Or was it some force that prevented humanity from knowing its true identity? In Sumerian cuneiform, Ophiuchus was called snake-bearer. He was no ordinary symbol, but the guardian of knowledge, healing, and forbidden powers. Ancient humans understood that the 12 constellations were merely facades, and the 13th constellation, the key, Ophiuchus, is like a locked door. Once opened, humanity realizes that there are more than 12 possible scenarios for their destiny. Chapter 2. Why was the Ophiuchus hidden? The taboos and warnings of ancient civilizations on the surface. Astrology reveals a poem of romance and destiny. But in the symbolism left by ancient civilizations, Ophiuchus has never been a symbol of romance. It is more like a sign of taboo. In Sumerian civilization, the Ophiuchus was depicted as a man holding a giant snake. In their mythology, the snake was not simply an animal, but a symbol of wisdom, healing, and rebirth. It also represented danger, betrayal, and destruction. Imagine if a constellation could both grant a person extraordinary intuition and alter the course of fate. Wouldn't it destabilize the entire 12 zodiac system? This is one reason the Ophiuchus was hidden. Its energy was too unstable and too dangerous. And this wasn't just a Sumerian perception. In Egyptian star maps, the Ophiuchus was often associated with passages to the underworld. Priests believed that the Ophiuchus guarded a path for the soul to cross. If the soul, unprepared, opened this path rashly, it would be lost forever. Or consider the Mayan civilization. They left a peculiar symbol on their star maps. A serpent-shaped deity coiled around a human body. Scholars are cryptic when interpreting it, but the true meaning is that the Ophiuchus is the key between humanity and the blueprint of the universe. Whoever possesses it can transcend fate's constraints. This is why, from ancient times to the present, almost every civilization has acknowledged the Ophiuchus, yet none has dared to truly pass it on publicly. Once the truth about the Ophiuchus is revealed, humanity will begin to question who is actually writing our so-called fate. Is the cycle of the 12 zodiac signs just some kind of matrix script concealing the true power of the 13th star. Chapter 3. You may not be what you think you are. You think you're a Sagittarius, but perhaps you never were. Modern astrological classifications automatically classify those born between November 29th and December 17th as Sagittarius. However, in the true zodiac, the sun actually transits Ophiuchus during this period. In other words, if you were born during these dates, your destiny may have been miswritten from the very beginning. Imagine this. You've read countless horoscopes and interpreted your life through the lens of a Sagittarius personality, but many of your inner conflicts and struggles are actually due to your soul frequency not being Sagittarius. You may have discovered that you're not entirely as free-spirited as a Sagittarius. Instead, you're often pulled by an intuitive force, a sense of destiny that prevents you from drifting with the flow. That's not Sagittarius's energy. It's the call of Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus often feels a strong urge to awaken. They sense their uniqueness and the ability to see the truth behind illusions. They may question authority, be particularly sensitive to mysticism and spirituality, and even frequently dream of unfamiliar universes and unseen symbols. If your life often feels dislocated, it might not be your fault. Rather, it's because you've been living in a misplaced destiny. The hidden nature of the zodiac is more than just a gap in knowledge. It causes countless people to misidentify themselves and miss out on connecting to their true energetic blueprint. When the truth of Ophiuchus is revealed, it means that all destinies that have been miswritten will undergo a tremendous shake-up. Chapter 4. The true power of Ophiuchus. Healer or rebel? In ancient astrological charts, the Ophiuchus is often depicted as a snake-bearer. One hand grasps the serpent's head, the other suppresses its tail, as if wrestling with some primal force. This image is far from arbitrary. It reveals the core of Ophiuchus's energy, control and balance. The serpent symbolizes polarity. It can heal and poison, wisdom and destruction. The Ophiuchus stands between these two extremes. The healing power of the Ophiuchus. In mythology, the Ophiuchus is often associated with Asclepius, the god of medicine. He is said to possess the secret to resurrecting the dead, an ability that even struck fear in Zeus. If death were cured, the order of life and death would be utterly disrupted. Thus, the Ophiuchus's power is primarily healing. He can access the source code of life, understand the frequencies underlying illness, and reshape energy with wisdom beyond human reach. Doesn't it sound very similar to what we call quantum healing and energy field repair today? This is the modern reflection of the Ophiuchus's energy. The rebellious power of Ophiuchus, on the other hand. Ophiuchus is also a challenger of taboos. He defies death, order, and fate itself. Because of this, he is considered a dangerous being. This power often burdens those born under the sign of Ophiuchus with contradictions. They seek salvation, yet are often rejected. They see the truth, yet are labeled heretics. They seek to bring light, yet are misunderstood as darkness. Thus, Ophiuchus is not a lucky sign. It represents a dangerous freedom. If you can harness it, you become a healer. If you are consumed by it, you become a rebel. This is the primary reason why Ophiuchus is so obscured, because the power it represents is not accessible to everyone. Chapter 5. The 12 constellations versus Ophiuchus. A tampered destiny. Script. When we discuss the 12 constellations, we assume they are complete, symbolizing the order and cycle of the universe. But is this really the case? From an astronomical perspective, the sun passes through not 12, but 13 constellations on the zodiac. The Ophiuchus position isn't insignificant. It occupies a prominent place between Scorpio and Sagittarius. This means that the 12 constellations are themselves a truncated version. Imagine a play with 13 characters, but someone abruptly removes a key one and tells you, "No, that's all." The result? The play appears complete, yet there's always a missing hole. This missing part distorts our interpretation of destiny. We use the 12 constellations to categorize personalities and predict the future, forgetting that there's a 13th script, the true fork in the road. Why the tampering? One theory is that ancient priests and rulers didn't want humans to be exposed to the energy of the Ophiuchus, because once everyone knows that there are more than 12 choices for their destiny, it means that fate can be rewritten, and the foundation of rule is built precisely on humanity's belief that fate is fixed. This is why the Ophiuchus was deleted, and why most people today haven't even heard of the 13th sign. The 12 zodiac signs are like a carefully choreographed script, persuading humans to believe they can only follow a fixed trajectory, and the Ophiuchus is the one who breaks the script. Once you acknowledge the existence of the Ophiuchus, you acknowledge that fate is not predetermined, but can be rewritten and transcended. Chapter 6. The Ophiuchus and Soul Awakening. Trapped. Energy frequencies. Have you ever wondered why ancient civilizations so closely associated the snake with consciousness? In Indian yoga, the highest state of spiritual awakening is called Kundalini. Its symbol is a serpent, dormant at the base of the spine. When this serpent awakens, its energy rises, ultimately opening the crown chakra and allowing one to enter a state of unity with the universe. In Western mysticism, the serpent also symbolizes the double helix of DNA, representing the core code of life. So when you hear the term Ophiuchus, do you truly understand its meaning? Ophiuchus is more than just a constellation in the zodiac. It symbolizes the one who controls the frequency of soul awakening. Those assigned the sign Ophiuchus often possess heightened intuition. They can sense latent energy fluctuations, receive inexplicable symbols in dreams, and even experience sudden out-of-body experiences or expanded consciousness during meditation. But at the same time, this power can also cause them significant distress. They may feel out of tune with the world, oppressed by inexplicable energies, or even feel constantly oscillating between two realities. Why? Because their frequency doesn't naturally belong to the cycle of the 12 zodiac signs. Their energy is trapped in a faulty script, constantly colliding and clashing. The awakening of an Ophiuchus is the process of breaking free from this frequency constraint. When you truly realize you belong to the Ophiuchus sign and begin to align with this energy, you'll discover that you possess the power to change your own destiny and even the ability to awaken others. This is the Ophiuchus sign's most terrifying and sacred secret. It can not only change one person's life, but also alter the frequency of consciousness of a group of people. This is why the truth about Ophiuchus is deliberately concealed, because once this energy is collectively awakened, humanity will realize that the so-called cage of fate can be broken at any time. Chapter 7. Ophiuchus and Dreams. Interstellar codes. Hidden in the subconscious, have you ever had strange dreams, like these: dreams of unfamiliar skies, cities you've never been to, or even dreams of playing a completely different role on some interstellar stage. Psychologists would tell you that these are projections of the subconscious. However, from a mystical perspective, these dreams are not fictions, but rather fragments of sealed memories, and Ophiuchus is the sign with the deepest connection to dreams. In astrology, Ophiuchus often has an extremely active subconscious. Their dreams often feature cosmic symbols, snakes, doors, pillars of light, spirals, and unknown languages. These aren't random images, but rather codes of the interstellar blueprint. Ancient civilizations understood this well. In Sumerian cuneiform, the Ophiuchus is often associated with gatekeepers, and that door is the entrance to the subconscious and cosmic memory. What does this mean? It means that Ophiuchus may enter a higher dimensional library in their dreams. There, they see omens of the future, hear inexplicable revelations, and even be given destiny's instructions. No wonder many Ophiuchus feel their lives are ordained, their choices seemingly connected to an unseen force. But there's a danger. If the energy of an Ophiuchus isn't properly channeled, these dreams can become a source of distress, plunging them into hallucinations and confusion. Thus, Ophiuchus are both dream explorers and nightmare bearers. They must learn to distinguish between dreams that are subconscious noise and those that are true cosmic instructions. When a serpent bearer truly learns to navigate the worlds of dream and wakefulness, he or she can draw from the subconscious a blueprint for changing their destiny. Chapter 8. The Serpent Bearer and Forbidden Wisdom. Why do rulers fear the 13th star? Have you ever wondered why the Serpent Bearer, while clearly part of the zodiac, has been eliminated from the 12 zodiac signs in modern astrology? Is this a coincidence or a deliberate cover-up? You should know that in ancient civilizations, the serpent bearer wasn't an overlooked symbol. It represented a power that transcended death. Asclepius in ancient Greek mythology was the embodiment of the serpent bearer. He held the secret of resurrection and could even bring the dead back to life. This was considered taboo at the time, because if humans mastered the power of immortality, the status of gods and rulers would be shaken. So Zeus chose destruction. He struck Asclepius to death with a thunderbolt, but he also acknowledged his greatness by raising him into the sky and transforming him into the serpent bearer. From that moment on, the Ophiuchus bears the stigma of taboo. Even in modern times, the ruling class continued this cover-up. The 12 zodiac signs were widely disseminated, woven into a complete destiny matrix. However, the 13th sign, the Ophiuchus, was hidden from the public eye. Why? Because the Ophiuchus's energy symbolizes breaking free from the system. It defies the established frameworks and is unconstrained by time and death. Once humanity universally awakens to the power of the Ophiuchus, we will discover that fate is not predetermined. Destiny is not a cage. The true key lies within us. What the rulers fear most is humanity realizing that you don't need the rules they set to live. The wisdom of the Ophiuchus is a forbidden knowledge of how to traverse the matrix. It teaches you how to break the cycle, how to escape the system of death, suffering, and reincarnation. This is why, to this day, the Ophiuchus remains a marginalized symbol. It's not that it doesn't exist, but that it has been deliberately erased, because if it returns, the entire system of fate will be rewritten. Chapter 9. How to Awaken the Power of the Ophiuchus. Can ordinary people activate the 13th star? You may be wondering. The Ophiuchus sounds mysterious, taboo, and full of legends. But what does it have to do with me, a mere ordinary person? The answer is, the Ophiuchus's energy is latent within you. It's just that you've never been allowed to see it. Body memory. Have you ever noticed that certain parts of your body always remind you at critical moments? For example, a vibration in your spine, a tightness in your abdomen, a burning sensation in your heart. In ancient mysteries, these areas were called serpents' paths. The Ophiuchus's energy, like a coiled snake, lies dormant in your central nervous system. When you enter deep meditation or suddenly awaken from a dream, you'll feel a surge of electricity rising from your tailbone, passing through your heart and reaching your brain. At that moment, you'll understand the Ophiuchus is awakening. The soul's 13th gate. The 12 zodiac signs are like 12 gates, defining your personality, destiny, and life's trajectory. But the 13th gate, the Ophiuchus, points to the exit. It doesn't help you better adapt to the system, but rather teaches you how to escape it. In ancient alchemical manuscripts, the Ophiuchus is often associated with the number 13. 13 isn't an ominous sign, but rather a number that represents breaking free from cycles. Awakening from the Ophiuchus means you can become aware of your programming in your dreams. You can see the cracks in your destiny in reality. You can even choose to take a path not written in the script. Activation methods. So, what can ordinary people do? Here are 3 ancient methods for activating the Ophiuchus. Dream journaling. Write down your dreams as soon as you wake up each day. These aren't random dreams. They're training signals from the Ophiuchus. Spinal breathing. When inhaling, focus your awareness on your tailbone and imagine a serpent of light slowly ascending. When exhaling, the serpent of light enters the crown of your head and transforms into starlight. Meditation on the number 13. Silently recite 13 in your mind and feel yourself resonating with the 13th power beyond the 12 zodiac signs. 13 isn't the end, but the gateway to connecting with the universe. As you continue to practice, you'll notice that random events in your life begin to appear, anomalies, repeating numbers, strange dreams, sudden inspirations. These aren't coincidences. They're the Ophiuchus's response to you. So the Ophiuchus isn't a distant symbol in the stars. It's within you, in your dreams, in the deepest cracks of your being. All it takes is a moment of awareness, and it will awaken.